two interesting, possibly unrelated things. One, I had a technical fax from a fellow who's got solar panels, I don't know, it's about a week ago. And he monitors the current and voltage draw from those solar panels. He's got meters on each. He said that the current levels from those solar panels have been going up precipitously with no explanation. And he's monitored these damn things for 10 years. That I thought was weird. Then I had people saying, you know, even here in Canada, I'm out for a little while during the day and I'm getting sunburn. Something's different. Then I had a fax from somebody else who said, you know, Art, I went out today and I did something I shouldn't have done. I looked at the sun and I didn't see any yellow component, that it was very white. And so I walked outside and I squinched my hand together so I could just, you know, I just get a tiny view of the sun, which was stupid. It's not the way to do it. And I'll be damned, it looked pure white to me. I called my boss at the network up in Oregon. I said, do me a favor, do the test. You know, you can make a little hole in a box and project the sun onto something and take a look at it for me. And he did, and he said, damn, it's all white. Now, this could just be psychological suggestion, you know, subconscious suggestion by my saying it. But I've had a lot of very odd observations about the sun. And by God, we are having X-class flare after X-class flare.
Well, Art, you remember a couple of programs ago that we did together, I mentioned that bees were being blinded.
Yes, I do.
The ozone layers are thinning.
Yes, sir.
And the bees, they're actually being blinded. They can't evolve fast enough, generation to generation, to keep up with the intensity of the sunlight. And so they cannot see to find their food, and they're starving to death in many regions. And so that's correct. We are being baked.
We're being baked.
We're being baked. And the weather problems are now as severe as I described the way in which the weather would change to preclude growing crops the way we have been used to. That was 2 years ago. That's here now. That will result in millions of people in 1999 dying of starvation. Millions. Not hundreds of thousands, but millions.
Millions.
But what will aggravate that very, very quickly are plant diseases, especially light, especially fungi. That is going to be the thing that really aggravates the food problem. Right now, the world's sorghum crop is an emergency situation. I don't know if you're aware of it.
You've been saying this for years about the fungi.
Yeah, there's an emergency situation with sorghum. Well, and corn is really endangered in several parts of the world now too, with its own blight. What happens when that's followed by wheat and rice and oats?
Mass starvation is what would occur.
That's correct. So it's as if the Earth is striking back. It's mounting a counterattack against overpopulation by its key cancer agent.
Its key cancer agent.
The Earth is overpopulated.
Yeah, I don't reject that at all either. You know, aside from being able to remote view it, anybody with an ecological head on their shoulders can see what's going on.
What I wanted to say was this. Years ago, when we were able to discern this economic collapse, we were also looking at something that followed right on the heels of the collapse. And that was not the Korea nuke, and it wasn't even the plant pathogens. It was human diseases. We think here in SciTech, based upon our remote viewing data, that human diseases, the epidemics, will spread so rapidly, they'll mirror what's now happening in many ways, analogically, they'll mirror what's happening in the stock market. They'll spread so fast that they'll go through human populations like wildfire. And that is about to happen, Art.
Oh, my God. Ed, when did you begin to close in on this information you're giving me right now?
2 years ago. Not the Korean nuke. That was only 10 months ago.
When did you begin to become so sure that you wanted to go on the air and talk about it?
About a year ago. And I did, of course. It's sort of a cleansing. This solar thing, though, again, renders all of the other human problems problematic. It is the grand cleanser. And that's what we had called 2 years ago when we first did your show. We called this discontinuity, the thing that we did not understand.
Couldn't see past. There was an event you could not see past that you called the discontinuity.
Correct.
For lack of a better term.
And it took us a year to work that out, to determine that it was indeed the sun, our own star.
This is the discontinuity. Now, you were incorrect about the timeline of the shot over the bow that you predicted regarding the sun, which should have been late spring. It is now September. So you say you are not wrong, though, about what you call the kill shot. Now, will there be a precursor event still to this kill shot, or is it just going to happen?
I don't know if the precursor event is what I just described in terms of X-rays, or if it is a very large coronal mass ejection, a very large flare. I do not know that. It's too complex for us to work out. We've reached our limits using this tool and what we can do. We've tried to attack the problem many ways. It's just too complex for us.
Is it true, Ed, that the toughest aspect of remote viewing is the nailing down of timelines? Not that events are going to occur, but when they're going to occur.
That's correct. That's correct. The only reason that we got the current economic situation correct was we spent so much time on it over and over again, working it to be able to nail it down. It takes a tremendous amount of work to fix an event in time, both past and present.
Yep.
If you have no other information to bracket the event in terms of a window of time, linear time, because mind is outside of time, and it's that arena in which technical remote viewing works. Mind, the fifth dimension, attempting to look down on the fourth dimension, which is time.
Right. This is really interesting. Now, let me take you off into a slightly more esoteric, hopefully ever so slightly encouraging area. I have performed several experiments using literally millions of people, my audience. They have been seemingly successful in either having craft showing themselves or 3 separate weather experiments that we played with. And I guess what I'm asking is, if a large segment, millions of people, were to use what mental power they have toward changing the events you're describing now, could such an intervention in any way change what is going to occur?
Based upon my experience, I don't know. Based upon my intuition, which I never use, I think yes. But I think it would take a very large amount of people, yeah. Yes, I think the answer to your question is yes.
Which is to suggest then that events are not absolutely fixed in time, and that large numbers of minds working on a modification of an event still to occur might have an effect on that. I mean, it's like a shot in the dark here, but I'm grasping at anything based on what you're saying.
I think that if the event is very large, then you would need an extraordinary number of minds to do that, to achieve that kind of coherency. That would be a good word to use, and impact. It
would be a mass remote influencing experiment. I guess that's the way you'd put it?
That would be close enough. Close enough in terms of descriptive terms, yes. But I don't think humankind is that close yet. I mean, remember the old days that when we talked, you saw advertisements about the Maharishi effect, where if 100 1,000 or 144,000 people got together and
Yes.
that kind of thing. I think that there is something to that. Obviously, I think you would agree. But are we going to do it? No, we can't get our act together as humans.
All right.
We're
Ed,
not united enough to do that.
Yeah, we're probably not. All right, Ed, hold it right there. Ed Dames is my guest, Major Ed Dames. Cytex, Ed Dames. I'm Art Bell. We'll be right back.
Her hair is hollow gold, her lips sweet surprise. Her hands are never cold. She's got Betty Davis eyes. She'll turn her music on you. You won't have to think twice. She's pure